All right. What is up? What is up? I am so excited for this call. Um, I will be speaking. I'm going to let stuff flow. If you guys have questions, feel free to go. My plan is to rock this out in like 20 minutes or less. You know how that goes because I love to speak. But I wanted to spit some motivation and fire into you guys because I have been listening and listening and listening and pouring, and this thing just made so much sense. There will be some biblical aspects, but I think for the most part, you guys can really relate to this and understand and just get some basic principles and tools that we have that we can use as a team, as a whole. So I you guys know that there's a difference between fishing with a hook and fishing with a net, right? And maybe you guys or maybe you have heard of the story in the Bible where Peter is, they're casting their net out for the fish and stuff, right? Okay. So there's a difference between fishing with a hook and fishing with a net. Everyone agree? Yeah, good. I'm not like the only one. So fishing with a hook, you guys can only, it's only what you can do, right? When you go out fishing, you're fishing a single hook. You're fishing a single line out. With a net, you're casting a whole thing out, right? You have the ability to catch more than one, right? Yes? Good. This is so basic. You guys are like, Ashton, what the heck are you talking about? Okay, net comes from the root word of network. Net is only as strong as the place where it comes together. So a net is no stronger than the place that it has ties to. So your net and those ties are your relationship. Those are your relationships with your challengers, your relationships with your coaches, your relationships in this team. So we can be so much greater as a net than we can just being out fishing with a hook, right? Now there's stuff that you guys are going to have to do. We can't, there's basic simple things that only you guys can do, only you guys can utilize. But as a team, we can cast out more things together to be able to help one another grow. So I can only do what? I can only help so many people. You guys can only help so many people. Can you imagine if we have a team of 50, even if you guys have a team of 5 or a team of 10 or a team of how much things can multiply? And I think that we kind of just, we don't even think about it. The relationships that you guys build and everything. So I'm not going to sit here and say, you guys can't run your own challenge groups. You guys can't run your own team calls. Don't do this or don't do that, because you guys need to do those things as you become leaders and everything. But for the time being, we need to utilize the ties that we have, the relationships that we have, so that we can maximize our time, that we can use our gifts and strengths that we have, and have, maybe there's weaknesses that I possess, which I know that I possess, that there's other people in the team that can pull that together. So you guys will know, hey, okay, now is the time that I need to do this. But right now, we have so many tools and resources that you guys can utilize as a whole team right now. We've really come together, and John can testify to that right now. We've come together as a big team. We're like, our Papa uplines all came together and we're like, hey, we need to do this whole network thing. We're casting this net out so that we can catch hundreds of fish, so that we can help multiple people, not just one here and there where we're all running around like a chicken with its head cut off. So I'll get into more about the strengths and weaknesses and things like that and stuff. But I think sometimes it's hard because we all have to be tied together, right? For a net to work. And that's why I put that picture up there. You'll see holes in the net. If they're not tied together, fish are going to slip through. This is how we can create the greatest impact, is if we create strong ties with our challengers, strong ties with our coaches, strong ties with the relationships that we have. And you know what? You also have to be cautious though too, because for one, you have to put people in categories, and I don't mean that like in a bad way, but you guys need to place people in categories. You need to figure out, okay, sometimes we have people that are in follow-ups for maybe like 8 months, and not saying that they shouldn't be there in a follow-up, but you know what? If you followed up with them every month for 6 months and nothing's going down, you need to put them in a no pile. You need to forget about it, because you're giving way too much energy on people that aren't coming to you. They'll eventually come to you. A no is a no, not right now. That doesn't mean that they're not going to say yes. But the biggest thing that I have noticed is that when people are like, yeah, you know, I've got this one person, and then next, yeah, I'm still working with this one person. Yeah, I'm still working with, no. Place your boundaries. Figure out, okay, this person is a prospect. I don't want to call them a prospect. I don't like that word. This person is a future challenger. This person is a future coach. These are my follow-ups, peoples. These are no's. That doesn't mean that you get rid of that no list, but when you place that person on a no, if you followed up with them 1 month, if you followed up with them 2 months, you followed up with them 3 months, and they still haven't responded to your message, you need to put them in the no pile. Quit giving them energy, and you need to find new people who are going to want to do this, because you're giving all of this time and energy in a place that's not even going to form. It's like you're casting the net out in nothing. And how many times did they do that on the boat, right? They cast it out. They nothing, brought in 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 nothing, until Jesus said, hey, cast your boat on this side. And then they brought in more than they could even handle. So sometimes it's just a switch of direction in which way you're going to go. So we all come together in this, though. We are like this net that's coming together because we have a vision in ending the trend of obesity. We want to help others, right? I think everybody wants to help others. I think everybody wants to grow an income in this. And we all have gifts that we can use to grow this business. So one thing that Jesus talks about in the Bible a lot is that all things work together in unity. And that's one thing that I'm like, all right, we got to figure out how to, you know, how do we get our whole team working together using their strengths, so that, you know, maybe someone's really great at graphics, you guys. There's someone that could be doing our team photos. Maybe someone's really like me. I love to spit motivation. I love talking on team calls. I love motivating people. I love pumping them up. You want me to talk to one of your prospects with you? Or you want me to talk to one of the coaches, one on like a 3-way call? Put me up for it. Why? Because I'll sit there and get super pumped up and motivated and excited. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I love what we do. There's so much passion behind it. Maybe there's someone, I'm always like, okay, dude, you talk about the numbers thing, because I understand it, but it's just not my thing. That's how Dennis was too. We call him Google, right? He like would know every single thing like this and that. And I'm like, dude, he's got a gift. And we all have these gifts that we can use as a team. So, you know what ends up happening though is that, like I said, Jesus talks about how all things work together for unity and that the enemy divides. And division can be simply that people just aren't getting on board. So how many people are out there in the mindset? This is what happens, the mindset of people, even us. I've seen it. I've lived it. You guys have probably lived it. Well, that really doesn't include me. I don't have anything to really offer. I'm not like that person. I'm not in the right place. You know, I can only do a little bit. Like, I only have an hour's worth of time. Okay. So if you only have an hour's worth of time, how many other people are telling you that they only have an hour worth of time for this? Okay, can you give this an hour? Not saying that it may take a little bit longer to run your business in an hour's worth of time, but I guarantee you have 500 people that can only work an hour. So if you've got 500 people that can do a little, like an hour, it's going to do a whole lot of things. No joke, right? And I think we kind of shift focus off of that. Like, hey, you got to be doing this. You got to be doing that. But 500 people could be adding a little versus doing nothing. But they don't see their value. They don't see the gifts and talents they have. They don't understand, hey, it's truly possible. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be hard work and everything. But if you can still do this for an hour, that's all I've got. When I actually talked to my brother today and I was looking at my phone, it actually is telling me how many hours of things I'm on for the apps and stuff. That must be a new thing, that iPhone with the update and everything. And I utilized that. I actually only was pretty much working maybe 20 hours. Maybe 20 hours a week. That's it. I don't even think I was working that, because I wonder if like I've had apps up, if they utilize when you're running or not. I guess I'd have to look into that. But here we are. There's so many people that keep getting frustrated because they don't think that they're going anywhere. You know, they're not seeing the fruit. They're not seeing things show up. You're working hard and it's not growing and it's not doing anything. But you have to understand that you have to stay consistent. Because just the same way, how many of us, you know, winter's coming, got my hoodie on, I got my tea, I'm already gearing up for the winter. We look at we look at a tree in the winter and it looks dead, right? It looks like a dead tree. But what we don't see in this tree is that there is sap flowing inside of this tree, being in a season of getting ready to flourish, getting ready to produce fruit, or getting ready to build more branches and leaves when the time comes. But what happens is we get frustrated because we're not seeing what we want to be seeing. And so we're so focused on what we want to be seeing that we're not actually doing the action steps that we need to be taken, because we're so focused on a season that's not happening, when we're being prepared for what's truly ready to come. Right? So you have to stay consistent, you guys. You can't lose the momentum. That's the biggest thing. If you're not staying consistent in the action steps, because we're so focused on, why isn't this working? Why can't I get this? Why don't people see this? What's going on? Look at your ties. Look at your net. Are your ties good? Are your relationships good? Don't quit because you don't physically see what's going on, because I can guarantee you, and Veronica just talked on the video today in our team page. She talked about, if you didn't listen to it, it's a quick video. I think it's less than 5 minutes, but she talked about how she had a conversation with this girl, and this girl said no or whatever, and she doesn't even remember this conversation. And here she shows up to her class, and this girl showed up to her class saying that she saw her post about her class or whatever, and she got talking to this girl who just fell in, just watch the video. But pretty much if she wouldn't have posted about that stuff, if she wouldn't have talked to her, if she would have initially made that conversation and stuff, but yet she didn't quit because one person was like, yeah, no. She's like, all right, I'm on a whole nother aspect. And guess what? This girl came running. And that's the same thing that people will do to you guys. But what are you also putting out there? Do you know what I mean? Like a fruit or an apple tree is only going to produce apples, right? An orange tree is only going to produce oranges. So if you're putting things out on your Facebook about how you love coaching, how it's blessed your life, how it's grown you in personal development, how you've lost this much weight, how the energy that's been overflowing in your life and in your family's life, how these beach bars are such an amazing snack to send off with your kids, how Energize is the next gaming hit. I mean, I didn't even know that people talked about this whole G Fuel. That's the gaming thing to keep people focused. I'm like, what? So if you're not talking about those things on your Facebook, you're not going to produce those things. Now, this doesn't mean talk about coaching, right? Or talk about fitness, or health. But that should be a big part of it. This is your storefront, you guys. And it's not being spammy. It's, how can I talk about how my workout, like I really didn't want to do it this morning. It's getting colder. I didn't want to get out of my bed, but I was so thankful. I've got this little neon drink that like, whoo, let me tell you, I get a little bit of that, get 1 scoop, maybe 2 scoops. No, we're not going to take 3. Okay, sometimes, but it gets me on fire. And guess what? I get my butt up and I want to work out because it gets you all tingly and stuff. And then you push and you're like, I didn't even know I could do that many push-ups in 1 round. Woo. You know, those are things that you need to understand that when you're speaking about it. I don't know about you guys, but personal development, such a great thing to be posting out on your Facebook, talking about what you learned from it. I know Holly and I just talked too. She was like, I told her about how like putting out a quote or whatever. I'm like, if you find a quote, and I actually heard this from some told her this too, but if you find a quote on that you really like and it hits you, how did it hit you? Don't just put that quote out there and be like, yeah, somebody else is going to get motivated by this. No, talk to somebody, tell them the story of like, you know, I was really in a deep place, or I was struggling with this, and this quote just hit me. Like it made me think, never give up, keep going. Don't focus on the negative, put your blinders on, whatever that quote is, tell the story behind how it's going to impact your life. And it was Melanie Mitchell's video. I don't know what video, because I watch a lot. Totally watch a lot. So the thing is that too, when you guys aren't seeing the fruit being produced, understand that maybe God is preparing you and having you work on your ties and having you work on your relationship so that you guys are going to be able to hold all the fish that you're about ready to receive. You're going to be checking the ties to make sure it's strong enough so that when the blessings come in, you guys have everything that you can hold and it's not going to break. Like you seriously, like you can't take on more than you can handle. It's not going to work like that. So maybe there's different tools and principles that you need to get into place. Like, okay, I found out this whole texting system thing, this donut texting. I didn't know anything about it. I can type 1 word and a whole script comes versus copying and pasting. What? For real. So here, God's sitting here just like showing me these, well, not showing, I'm doing the work and watching this, but these little things are popping up, preparing me for a huge amount of people that are going to be flowing into our team, flowing into the challenge groups and stuff like that. And I need to figure out how to funnel people. So that's why I talked to my brother today too. It wasn't even necessarily about him using coaching, but I was like, hey, you know what? I was like, I had you as a coach a while ago and everything, and I was thinking about just signing you up, you know, and whatever. Or can you just purchase a challenge pack so that XYZ, you know, it'll help me out in this and that and stuff and everything. I'm like, and by the way, I know that you're at home. He's born in 97. Do the math, Ashton. He's, yeah, however old, 20, right? Yes. Yep, we're good. Whatever. Don't see, my strength is not figuring out math like that. Okay. He was born in 97. He's at my mom and dad's, and he's had very little jobs. He has anxiety problems and everything. And so I was like, hey, you know, I was like, I'm really trying to build my business right now. And I've seen your Instagram account before, how you have like people liking, like you get hundreds of likes on like nothing. Like, and I didn't say it like that, but I'm like, do you think that maybe this week or like next week, you could take a couple hours on my Instagram and grow it with people that I could connect with and stuff, and maybe make a couple likes and talk on it, or like, you know, comment on photos for me and see if it can grow. And I was like, and I can give you some income for it, you know? So that's what I wanted to talk to him to, because I don't need to do the initial getting people to see my stuff. I want to build relationships. Somebody else can get people to see my account by using good hashtags, by searching other places and finding people. I need them to see my initial stuff so that I can talk to them. Because nobody's going to talk to them the way that I want to talk to them. My brother can't do that for me. So I initially went to him just to figure out how to grow my Instagram account, if he'd be interested in that, because I know that he's, you know, he kind of feels a little down that he's not doing anything. And then I was like, you know, too, I could you could get signed up as a coach with the challenge pack and then possibly use this to grow an income yourself. I'm like, I know that you have anxiety issues. This is a perfect place for you to be able to run a business behind what you're comfortable with. And, you know, so he has been blowing up my phone all night once I started talking to him about the numbers. Like he's like, well, like, what do you get? And I'm like, well, for instance, if someone gets Shakeology, I get $20 or $32. And he's like, what? I'm like, I forgot. Some people think $100 for a week or whatever is a lot of money. It can pay for a lot of things. That's another thing, is that we don't realize that there's people out there that are struggling, that $100 could be a huge blessing to their family. And it can happen by working an hour a day, taking 1 hour of their day, sacrificing one Netflix TV show for helping a big purpose. And, you know, I think we need to tell people that too, is that, you know, you're when people tell you that they're living paycheck to paycheck, or they can't do this or they can't do that, and they have kids, I'm sorry, but I've been in that situation where I feel like a piece of crap. Just saying, like, I do. Like, I'm sorry, I have to say no because we can't do that, because I feel like my family deserves more. So you know what? I think I can sacrifice watching a movie, or sacrifice going out with my friends, or sacrifice doing, because I feel like my family deserves more. Just saying. So they're my number one ministry. I don't have a spouse, so I have nothing that's not my ministry. I have my kids. And my calling is to take care of them. So why not utilize my gifts and share it with the world? So you guys have a big, huge blessing coming. You got this net that right now we need to be utilizing our team and our challengers and our friendships and tying them all together and showing them how they can do this. And the thing is that sometimes, like, we're sitting here, we're like wishing and hoping and praying that our team's going to grow, right? We're like, come on, I pray about it. I'm like, Lord, send me some leaders. Come on. Well, most of the time, utilizing the tools and resources that we have, and they're right in front of us. You know, it's like praying for a cake. You keep praying for a cake, because who doesn't want chocolate cake right now in the middle of the night when they're hangry? We want cake. So we're praying, God, give me some cake, give me some cake. But you know what? God's like, hey, Ashton, you've got flour in your cabinet. Hey, Ashton, I gave you sugar in your cabinet. Hey, you also have eggs. So you've got the tools to make a cake. You've got everything that you have to utilize and make a cake. Sometimes we might be missing one ingredient though, right? Sometimes we're not really following one ingredient that we should be making, to like baking soda. Cake ain't gonna rise without baking soda. So you're either missing an ingredient, a key ingredient, or you have all of the tools that you need, but you're not combining them together. Does that make sense? So here we got our vital behaviors. That's 4 ingredients right there. If you're not being a product of the product, you're not going to grow. It's really hard to tell somebody how much it's affecting your life if you ain't doing it. If you're not inviting people, who's all seeing your post? There's an algorithm on Facebook and on Instagram. You have to personally invite, or nobody's going to know what the heck you're doing or why you're doing it. Sharing your vision with people. If you're not recognizing people in our lifers group or in your challenge group that are working their butts off. Dude, we've got John Tarantino, who's, oh darn it, I don't want to mess up his age. I think he just turned 62, who's a lawyer, and he looks like a beast, you guys. Who cares if it's not your challenger? Rock out and share his story. Do you know how awesome that will make him feel? Here's this busy lawyer who looks like he could rip off his shirt. Share his story. People need to understand it doesn't matter about what your size is, what your age is, how much. Obviously, I think lawyers usually don't have a whole lot of time, right? They're pretty dang busy. But if he can make the time for it, if someone else, I'm a single parent of 4 kids, you guys. Share that with people. John's a nurse. There's somebody in your Facebook that is going to relate to someone else's story that you're not sharing because you think people are going to be offended by your post, because you think people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of hearing about this. You know what? I didn't wake up today worshiping what people's opinions of me are. I don't care if people want to think, if they don't like what I have to say. That's not going to hurt my feelings. And the people that do like my stuff, that doesn't enhance what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing because I love it and it's my calling and God's called me to it and I'm not going to stop. I'm changing lives. That is what I'm doing. It's not about the other people who are going to sit there and tear you down, because you're going to have it no matter what. When we start to recognize people, that is a big deal. And that's why Veronica, she's not my coach. Veronica doesn't fall underneath me in any aspect, but that girl is killing it. And I'm like, man, I'm going to learn from you. I'm like, I might be overthinking things. I might be overcomplicating it. And here she's just going on 5-minute videos like, man, this is changing my life. This is my story. You can get fit and earn money too. Is it that simple? like for real. She's sitting down just having a conversation with people. So if you're sitting there thinking and wishing, and you have all these ingredients and tools and resources in front of you, you're either one, missing out on a key ingredient that you need to make this, or you don't have the instructions to put it together. You're not understanding the instructions. And that doesn't mean like, hey, you've got to know everything, but hey, okay, I got to do this. So you already have everything you guys need to succeed in this business. You just have to figure out how to properly use the tools and resources that you have. And don't leave out ingredients. Don't leave ingredients out of the cake. A cake is not going to taste like a cake if it doesn't have all the ingredients. It just won't. I don't know what it would taste like, but just saying. Maybe we should try it and test it out. So first off, be thankful for the tools and the resources that you do have and start utilizing what God has already given you. You know what? We have, actually, I'll go into that in a second. So some of you guys are also limited because you think the only people that you can partner with are the people that you can run with. Let me say this again. Some of you are limited because you think that you can only partner with people that you can run with. What do I mean by this? Well, we search a lot for people that are like us, right? We want a tribe of people that are like us. However, if we get people that are completely like us, you might be good at everything that you do. Like, we need to find people who we can connect with on another level than health and fitness, and on a different level than health and fitness, right? We need to find people that we can connect with. I'm a Cowboys lover, right? Go boys. We got to get together just a little bit or a lot. But I can find people who like the Cowboys, make a connection with them. But does that mean that they have to be as spiritual as I am? Does that mean that they have to not be a drinker? Does that mean that they have to not be? No. Why? Because we all have different gifts and strengths. And I think the thing is that if we don't see somebody who's pretty similar to us, and not saying, I mean, obviously we want everybody to, but partnerships are supposed to pull in together with their different strengths so that they can, work together. This is somebody's strength. This is where I'm weak at. Hey, we fit together, if that makes sense. So for instance, and this is probably way out of the thing, the sermon that I listened to was talking about partnerships and everything. His name's Ron Carpenter. And he talked about how you can partner with people who you're not going to run with. And what he gave as an example is that here he's a pastor at a church, and they were doing a giving for their Christmas to get a bunch of clothes for these kids and stuff. Well, here the owner of a strip club came in and wanted to give them money for this. All right, I'll partner with you. You know, I have kids that need this and you've got a check. Does that mean I'm going to run with you? No. Like, so I think sometimes, and I'm hoping that this hits you guys a little bit, but there's a difference between partnering with people. And that's the awesome thing too, is that Holly may bring on 5 coaches and there's someone that I may really connect with that I can talk to, that I can help out and stuff. Or maybe there's someone on John's team who has nothing to do with my downline that I can connect with and that I can help, because him and I are 2 different people. But that's why we're success partners. He's a male, I'm a female. Pretty obvious, but you know what? There's different things that we can talk about. I just had to say, right? Nowadays we have to tell people if we're male or female. But what I'm saying is that he can talk about things where I can't talk about it, you know, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to help him whether it helps my paycheck or not, because he's my success partner. I'm running this business with him. He is a partner with me, and we made that commitment to one another. It doesn't matter if it's affecting our paycheck or not. We made a partnership and we are running together with this. And that's why we do this together. So I'm going to quickly get into, because I know that I wanted to do this in 20 minutes or less, or like about 30 minutes. But let's talk about the tools and resources that you guys have and that you guys can utilize. And then what I want you guys to do that are watching the replay or watching this right now, I want you guys to think about your strengths and your weakness. And I want you guys to post those in the team page. I'll make like a little thing that just says strengths and weakness. And so I just want you to comment right underneath it. Because I think a lot of times too is that we know that we have our weaknesses, but we like to not really talk about them, or we're like, yeah, you know, I'm good. No, I want to know exactly what you guys are great at, because what you guys are great at flows out, and what you're weak at also flows out. Y'all know I'm not good at organizing crap. I'm not. I can flow, I can talk, I can motivate, I can spit fire. I can tell you all the reasons why I love this business. I could bring on a party for people as far as like talking to them. But I'm like, oh, it's a new month. What's on sale this month? I have no idea. I don't. I'm like, do we have any sales going on this month? Because it's almost the end of this month and I don't know. That's a weakness of mine. So number 1, we have our online office. I'm sure all of you guys know about it, but make sure that you guys dig into the online office, because there's also personal development tools in there. There's training tools in there. So you guys can dig into even training tools like the Emerald, the Diamond, which I've been posting out in our team page. You guys are probably like, wow, she's got some great stuff she's talking about. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just copying and pasting and switching a little bit of things around on what we need to be talking about. And I sound like I am a star. And so the online office is huge. Know about it. Know what's in it. Know what things are all about. Number 2, our business opportunity calls. Like I said, we networked together with our bigger team to bring everyone's strengths and strengths together, and weaknesses, and not compromise. I don't know what the word is. John will probably come up with it and tell me, but you know what I'm saying here. So Jeff Armbruster talked last week on the team opportunity call, and here John and I are running it tomorrow. And at first I can tell you I was a little intimidated, because I'm like, man, we're running this team call not just for us and our downline who are going to bring people on, but this is like our pop, like we have to represent. And I told them, I was like, you know what? We need to just run it the way that we do, because we're not like Jeff and them. But you know what? They might have people in there that are like, wow, that hit, that was really good. That made a lot of sense. Because some people don't need the facts and figures. Some people don't need to understand this or that. But they just need to hear, hey, you can go on free trips. And guess what? I get to hang out with the best people ever. I get to work with the best people that I want to work with. And that's what John and I are about. We're about telling people how awesome this tribe is, how awesome our team is, how we get to do life with one another. If I'm having a crisis, I can text John and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like everything is falling apart. Like what, I can do that. That's amazing. And you know what? I trust him because I know that he'll give me the words that I need to get back on track. I love everybody, but I don't trust everybody, and neither should you. Sometimes you can't tell your business problems to your mom. Sometimes you can't tell your business problems to your friend. Why? Because they're not going to understand it. And you know what? They might just be like, hey, I told you this wasn't working for you. I'm just being real, you guys. Don't let other people tell you, and know who you can trust. You guys should always decide what you want to do. So use the business opportunity calls. We're running them every Wednesday. Who's doing them? I don't exactly know right now. The next one tomorrow is John and I. I think Lindsay might be after that. Tomorrow we also have a call with Chris Downing. Get in on that. Take a picture. Be like, dude, I'm on a call with Chris Downing, and you're not, because you're not a coach. So guess what? You should be one. No, but for real, we also are doing Get Started Right calls. I haven't looked more into it, but we're supposed to be doing those with our uplines. So what a Get Started Right call is that you guys have new coaches that join from the call tomorrow, because you guys are gonna have like 5 to 10 people on there. We're going to do a Get Started Right call as a whole team. So you don't have to individually be like, hey, what's your goals? Hey, this is how you run your online office. Hey, this is that. We're going to have those set up. So I will double check and make sure. But if they're not doing it, I'm sure John and I can easily set something up to where we're doing one maybe once a month, because I don't want to, first off, it will take time to prep and prepare. So fourth, we have recorded videos of opportunity calls, and we also have an audibles with the leaders that talked about it. You guys have the ability to use that. So if people can't watch a 30, 40-minute video, what can they do? Hey, we have this audible, and it kind of talks about the different objections and everything that come up about what coaching is. Can you listen like 5 minutes at a time? Sure, why not? You can listen to it while you're driving, just don't pay attention to your stuff. We have, you guys want to know the most amazing thing that we have? We have our websites taken care of for us. We just have to make sure we've got a picture on there and a little bit about us. We have our websites taken care of for us. We've got our shipping taken care of for us. We've got our inventory taken care of for us. And I know that that's something that's like, yeah, duh, I already knew this, but no, for real. Be blessed that you don't have to do that. And that's something to talk about to people, because some people don't think that, and because I didn't think about it, I didn't realize that, like, what is it, Leroy? Like, they have to carry their inventory. Thrive, I think they carry their inventory. I don't know. I don't understand how half that stuff works, but I didn't realize that they have to do that stuff. That's a blessing. So anyways, that's kind of pretty much all I have. There's tons more tools and resources that you guys have. When John and I first started this, we didn't have a whole lot in our online office as far as the stuff that we have now. We had, you have challenge group, like you guys have guides to be able to run challenge groups for yourself. We didn't have that. I was Googling water intake stuff, tips for water, tips for this, like, hey, what's workout motivation, that. So those are the things that now we have tools and resources for that we can use. But one of the biggest things that we did was we went onto YouTube and we were searching the coaches that were growing in the business. What the heck are they doing? How can I learn from this? Where can I go from that? What can I do? So make sure that you guys find people that have what you want and that you're learning from them. Sometimes you're not going to click with people. Some people you just will get irritated listening to. It doesn't mean that I mean, it's no offense to it, but if you can't listen to this person or that person, if you can't connect with this person or that person, find someone in the business that you can, because I guarantee you there's someone who's making well over 6 figures in this business. And if that's something that you want to do, how do you get there? But to piece this all together, we're going to get there by focusing on strengthening our ties, focusing on strengthening our relationships, and focusing on unifying the team that we have. Like I understand that we all do have our own teams, but when we can so for instance, really quickly, John and I have our teams together, and then we have Believe to Achieve, we have To Take Total Control. Then I know Jarrell, Faith Over Fear. We've got other little teams in this organization beneath John and I. So let's say we make this net together and we're able to make a net that can capture 500 fish. Well, we go above and beyond to Elevation Nation or to Spartan. I think they're just called now. I know the one is Spartan 2.0, but I think it's just, can't remember exactly, but Spartan something, maybe there's 1,000 fish that our net can bring in versus the 500. So let's use their wisdom, their knowledge, their resources, their tools, but yet know when you need to start your, focusing more on just your own team. But know that we do have tools and resources to where, hey, you know what, there's a month maybe that you really want to focus on recruiting, but you can only set up this. Hey, there's probably something going on in one of the other teams. So we're going to create unity in our team and in our relationships and in our ties so that we can cast this out and be ready to accept the blessing that you guys have coming. You need to be able to hold all of it because it's going to be huge. I'm going to tell you that. So anyways, that's all I got. I don't know if you guys have questions. I don't know if you guys want to say anything, but you're more than welcome to. And then we will call it for a night because I know it's getting late.
What's up? What's up? I just have one thing that I've been using as far as tools. We all know Instagram that's where everybody has kind of shifted as far as finding new people to talk to. I found a sweet little app. It's called Captivate. I'm not sure if it's on Android or not because I have an iPhone. But it's Captivate for IG, and it does a lot of the following and for you that you can pay. I think it's like $5 or $10 for the paid app, but I'll just turn it on at night. I'll have it set to where I'm following people that are in my interest group, like Ashton was talking about, Dallas Cowboys fans, fitness lovers, hunters, that I'll have it so that I'm following this group of people. So I just turn it on every night when I go to sleep, and I wake up and I typically will have 20 to 30 new followers because I follow them. They check my page, follow me back, and then I'll send the messages. So that has been an easy way to start talking to new people. We all know like I said, with Facebook, I'm sure you've seen, you start scrolling Facebook, you're seeing the same people's posts, the same exact 5-10 people that you always see. So definitely check that app out. It has grown my Instagram in the last, I think I've been doing about 3 weeks now. And I have, trying to get to my, I've put on about 900 or so followers since then. So.
Can you also, and it doesn't have to be tonight, but can you post in the team page? Like, I don't know if you are able to create something that kind of shows exactly what you do, or if you have a video too that kind of shows that how they can utilize that. And then I know that when we were talking, you said that there are certain actions like that where you only want to do so many. And then the same as for like the cleaner. So I know that probably cleaner was the one that you were talking about that kind of can take people off that don't follow you as well. I'm not sure if you use both of them, but if you do, then, do you do the adding app for so long and then all of a sudden one day you do like the cleaner, or if you've ever done anything. So I didn't know if you can post about that in the team page.
Yeah, I can definitely. I'll find the video that I looked at because it's a real clean video of how to use it. It's very simple. But yeah, I haven't used the cleaner yet. I hadn't figured out when I'm going to cut followers off. There is a new thing that Instagram only lets you follow 7,500. Right now I'm following 5,000. So I'm probably eventually about to start, and I don't know if I'll probably do like a week of like unfollows and just do like messaging all my new followers and things like that. So I haven't really messed around with cleaner as much. I'm just really trying to get all these followers in. But yeah, it's definitely, and I've had people click on my website because, that's the other thing. You should have your Instagram as a business, so you can get all the insights and everything. And what did that say? Since September 11th, I've had like 700 profile visits just from really starting this campaign with Captivate. So yeah, my Instagram was not too. I wish I could go back and see. I have to try to see if I can find that on the computer, what it was like the month before. So, but yes, definitely, I'll post the video here. I'll look it up and post it.
Yay, thank you. I know I was excited to get it today, so I'm excited to use it, and yeah, just to see what else it'll do. So, anybody else have any questions or any comments? No? We're good? Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hopping on the call, and I greatly appreciate it, taking your time to learn and everything. And sometimes it's just really, we need to hear one little thing that will just take us that next level. So you guys are going to just be ready, because by staying consistent, even if you're not seeing stuff, it's going to expand, it's going to grow. You guys are just being prepared for the blessing that's to come. So don't lose hope and don't lose faith. Like that's a lot of our team is all about taking control and believing and putting faith over fear. So y'all be ready. You guys have a good night, and we will talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.